Welcome to the Hospital Evacuation Orientation course. This program demonstrates the impact that a hospital evacuation can have on a typical patient, and it also gives a broad overview of the critical policies and procedures which you'll be learning more about as you proceed through this set of courses. The rain has not let up for 10 hours. The foot of snow that was on the ground last week just finished melting when the rain started. Supersaturated ground, combined with 3 inches of rainfall, is causing flooding in most low-lying areas. St. Rita's Hospital is located near the river that feeds into most of the city. Forecasters predict that the river's water level will reach flood stage in about 6 hours if the rain continues. The hospital grounds are already looking like one big lake. Small, isolated areas of water have begun to seep into the basement, where the emergency generator, medical records, and radiology department are located. With no end in sight to the rain, the CEO consults with the National Weather Service and local emergency management, who both indicate that severe flooding is imminent. Engineering informs him that the basement will soon begin to flood, threatening the entire operation of the hospital. Without any reasonable alternatives, the CEO activates the Hospital Emergency Operations Plan, assigns an incident commander, and orders a full evacuation of the hospital. He also notifies his key staff to activate the Hospital Command Center. The incident commander makes a hospital-wide announcement.
Attention, code evacuation, level 4A, main hospital building. Attention, code evacuation, level 4A, main hospital building.
Evacuation of a medical facility should never be taken lightly. The decision to partially or completely evacuate is a complex issue that involves a balance of factors, including the nature of the threat versus the risk to patients and staff. Total emergent evacuation should always be a last resort. In this series of evacuation courses, we'll be exploring the 3 types of evacuation: emergent evacuation, urgent evacuation, and planned evacuation. Keeping patients and staff within the hospital is always preferable to leaving the facility, provided that it can be accomplished without placing occupants at greater risk. Therefore, in addition to evacuation, we will also be reviewing a number of alternative strategies, including defend in place, establish a buffer zone, add resources, partial or localized relocation or evacuation, and even alteration in standard of care. Just down the hall in room 343, Janet Lader and her daughter begin to worry. Janet is scheduled to have her fractured right hip surgically repaired tomorrow.
Mrs. Lader? Hi, Mrs. Lader. Now, I don't want you to worry, but because of these heavy rains, the hospital is at a high risk of having some flooding in the next few hours. The hospital's leadership has determined that the only safe option is to go ahead and evacuate everyone. We have already made arrangements to transfer you to Mercy General Hospital, which is located on the other side of town. We have a few steps that need to be taken to get you there. So again, don't worry. We will do our best to keep you safe and comfortable. As you can see, patients who can walk are already being moved down the hallway. The first thing I need to do is check your medical ID band, and I'm going to tie a strip of bright red tape around your wrist. This just lets people know that you are unable to walk on your own and will need to be moved by a stretcher. I have put all of your important medical records, medication administration and treatment reports, and your care plan in this Go pouch, which is going to stay with you throughout your trip until you are admitted to Mercy General Hospital. I have also included in the pouch your medicine for the rest of the day in a sealed, zip-top bag with your name on it. And our clinical support unit leader will talk with Mercy General as soon as possible to see if we need to send any additional medication. If you need more pain medication, let me know now, because it may be a while until you receive your next dose. Since you have not had any problems drinking fluids, I'm going to change your IV to a saline lock. Soon, the horizontal movement team will be coming in to move you to something they call a holding area down the hall. So you just relax until they get here. Your daughter is welcome to stay with you for the time being.
Hello, Mrs. Lader. I'm Sue, and this is Tom. We're here with the horizontal movement team. We're going to move you in your bed down the hallway to the third floor holding area. The holding area is a safe location near the elevator doors. You'll remain in this area until the vertical movement team takes you down to the loading area on the main floor. We'll stay with you until we can hand off your care to staff in the holding area on this floor. Before we move, we need to check your armband and make sure you have the correct evacuation pouch containing your medical records. If you have urgent needs, don't worry. The holding area has emergency supply carts on hand. Are you ready? Let's go quickly. Your daughter can follow along.
Vertical Movement Unit Leader, this is Bill, the Evacuation Branch Director. Janet Lader in room 343 has been evacuated and is now on her way to the third floor holding area. Please send the Vertical Movement team to escort her downstairs.
The following courses will teach you how the various teams work together within the Hospital Incident Command System to carry out a safe and efficient evacuation. Each team has critical tasks to perform, and each one must know how to properly interact with the others, beginning with the movement teams. The horizontal movement team moves patients from their units to a designated holding area on the affected floor. The vertical movement team moves patients from the patient holding area on the affected floor to a patient loading area on the ground floor. The evacuation branch, led by the Evacuation Branch Director, is the organizational element responsible for carrying out the evacuation. And the Evacuation Operations Center works in close proximity to the affected area to coordinate evacuation activities. We'll explore the responsibilities, authorities, and chains of command within each of these groups in this set of evacuation courses.
Hello, Mrs. Lader. We are with the Vertical Movement Team. It's our job to take you down the elevator to the ground floor inside the emergency department. And from there, you'll be transported by ambulance to Mercy General. Now, you'll only be lying in the loading area for a short time before an ambulance arrives. Once we get downstairs, your care will be taken over by a different healthcare team. Your daughter can come along with us. Are you ready? Let's go.
Mrs. Lader, we are with the city EMS. We are going to put you on this stretcher and transfer you by ambulance to Mercy General Hospital. First, I need to check your armband and medical records pouch. Okay, are you ready? Your daughter will need to drive herself to the hospital. Let's go.
As you can see, once the determination has been made to evacuate a facility, there are a number of teams which must all work together in order to maintain proper care of each individual patient. In this next series of courses, you'll be taught these key principles, as well as the tasks and procedures which each team is responsible for in order to carry out a safe and efficient evacuation.